That was a university built in 1197, operating from 427.
What does that have to
But
do?
let me tell you.
I'm telling you, this guy keeps bringing up this university thing in the 1100s. That is actually, it is sad and frustrating to watch.
That is
Connect
what
it, please.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
That is what happens when a culture is destroyed and pushed into dark ages.
See, this is what I don't agree. He's saying like since the 1200s, India has been living in the dark ages. I don't. This is not the case. That's not true at all. That's his perspective. Don't like never believe a Sanghi. Okay, don't ever believe a Sanghi.
You start hating on yourself. You start hating. The racism is not just about black people. Indian caste system. We hate on each other.
Oh no, yeah.
And that caste system is much older than 1100. I don't know what point he's trying to make. The caste system they say is almost 2000 years old. So 1,000 years before this Nalanda University was destroyed, they were still being racist. Casteism is a kind of racism.
Yeah,
Every race does.
But let me
Yeah, but
finish.
has
But
It's different. So every race has like issues with each other, but what happens in India is different because Indians are not one race. Indians have never been one race, and I'm talking at least since in the sense maybe for the past 2000 years, Indians have never been a single race. So and recent archaeological, sorry, not archaeological, archaeological as well, the DNA based evidence and whatnot, that is proving this as well. So apparently, what happened? How do I explain this? So I'll connect it with the out of Africa theory, right? Because that is like scientifically proven so far. I don't know if it could be disproved or there could be some other evidence that could come up in the future that could dispute. But based on the current understanding is what I'm trying to say. The Africans, I think, moved out of like a branch of Africans moved out of Africa maybe 60,000 to 70,000 years ago, and then they took a certain route, right? They came to India and then they went to the Malaysian this thing archipelago, and then they eventually reached Australia. I think that's the route that they say. That is the first branch of people, and this next branch I think would be there were like ancient Iranians. I'm talking about maybe 10,000 years ago, 10,000, 9,000 years ago. So in that time period, people from the part of Iran, current day part of Iran, Zagros Mountains, they moved to India as well. So I'm not sure what exactly the ancient Iranians from the Zagros Mountains looked like 10,000 years ago. But the first branch of Africans who moved out 60,000 years ago, we all know they look very African. You can still see the remnants of that tribe in the Andaman Islands, right? So I think what happened is these hunter-gatherers mixed with those Iranians about 10,000 years ago to form the South Indians, I believe, something like that. Uh, yeah, and then much later, about 2000, 3000 years ago, people from eastern part of Europe, they came and mixed with this already mixed group. So these are like really fair skinned people, right? The Eastern Europeans. And then they came and mixed with. So far, three different distinct groups, right? At least. And then over the past 2000 years, there have been the Greeks, the Mughals, and everything. I'm not even going there. I'm talking about India. Is at least a mix of three different ethnic groups. and we all come in different colors and whatnot. So, but you get the point, right? The South Indians are much closer to the Africans, and that's why you'll see lots of people who are really really dark in the southern part of India. If you go further south, you'll see like you won't be able to differentiate between us and the Africans. They are like we are. I think I would say we are probably 40 to 50% African, and that's also the reason why a lot of the Indians it's like let's take Brazil, right? What Brazil is now, I think India was. You know how mixed Brazil is right now. Like you'll never know what makes a person is. Like in Brazil, he could be like 20% African. You could be 50% African. You could be. So that's how India is. India is a mix of like Caucasians from the Eastern Europe, and probably 10,000 years ago, ancient Iranians. I don't know what to call them. I'm not even sure how they look like, whether they looked African or whether they looked Caucasian. No, I have no idea. And then the really dark African, the first out of Africa migrants. So we are really mixed. But then there came this ideology along with this. I think the Eastern or Europeans, they brought with them this kind of ideology that the Varna system and whatnot, and that has made a huge impact in the way how we think as Indians, right? So even the DNA based evidence says, you know how the Brahmins are like the upper caste. The DNA based evidence shows that all Brahmins have Eastern European. Most of the Brahmins have Eastern European ancestry. I mean, the genetic mix is the highest in the Brahmins for Eastern European ancestry. Is what I'm trying to say. So you see what could have happened, right? It's obviously a race based hierarchy, the caste system. And I'm not even sure what he's trying to defend here. It is like 2,000 years old almost.
Intra-racial fighting.
But when I hear that,
caste system is
but
in place
when I hear that,
per Hinduism.
That is true.
Hinduism created the caste system.
Well,
Hinduism created.
Okay.
It was the Brahmins, right?
Can I, okay,
Brahmins?
bro, I am the expert
Brahmin?
in that. Can I at least talk about that?
What were the different?
I don't think he's like an expert or anything. He just claims to be an expert. I think he has a very biased perspective.
Okay.
Brahmins.
Okay, can I tell you? Okay. In Bhagavad Gita, what he says is there are the society is built by 4 kinds of people.
Go.
And he says the people that are educators and knowledge oriented people are like the head of the society. They decide how the society goes. The people that seek land are like the shoulders. They are the strength of the society. The people that do business are the arms of the society, and rest of them are the legs. And then he goes these are.
If you read the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas and whatnot, you'll understand how disgusting and racist some of the statements could be. Like what needs to be done if a lower caste person reads the Vedas. You know, there are all kinds of horrible stuff in the books. But I think when these Eastern European step pastoralists, they came to India, they brought with they go to Iran, I think, at that point, and then they come to India. I believe at that point Iran was already like a very advanced, sophisticated culture, right? There's Mesopotamia and whatnot. They bring with them this ideology, the gods and everything, and that's why, you know, Indra and all those are all gods. I think they also recently found that it is closely related to the ancient Iranian worship. and they bring that ideas from there, and then I think they kind of form this whole society based on this varna system or whatnot.
These are these are people defined by their attributes of their guna and gana. Guna means your internal traits, and gana means the things that affect you.
I have no idea why he's talking about all those things. As I told you, he's probably a Sanghi who's trying to explain that, we were all noble before the Mughals came in, but then it has been the dark ages since, the Mughal invasion, whatnot.
And then that quote was taken by interpreted to make it look like, and he never said that caste is from the birth, but that stuff came up.
Okay.
Hold up, bro. Let me finish.
Yeah, but he's going. He's really going. You've been going.
But
for
I gotta
5
tell you
minutes.
what the fuck happened, right? Like it's a fucking.
Go ahead.
Chill, bro.
They just asked why India is most racist country, and then this guy is going all the way back to 1100.
Oh, like I know. I need time
Okay,
to
I'm
Finish.
Dude, he got a T-shirt of that dude
and then
on
and
his
then
chest.
and then we got our opportunity to correct ourselves in 1947 when we started ruling ourselves. What did we do? And this is why I get pissed off when American people turn around and point fingers at us, because the hypocrisy of it is your system is still fucked up. And then when we got our independence, we found the lower caste person, Dr. Ambedkar, to write our constitution.
When we say we, I'm not sure if that is 100% true, because from what I think it's the Britishers who asked Ambedkar to write the constitution, not the he's claiming.
to make sure those safeguards were made.
Because I think the Britishers thought, because of the caste system, the lower caste people, they were not enjoying any kind of the upper caste people, they were not letting the lower caste people to have any kind of benefits or anything like that. So I think the Britishers, they asked Ambedkar to write the constitution. It's not like what he's saying, as if we realized our mistakes and then we that I don't think that happened.
Made for the lower caste people. Right now in India, 90% of reservations are reserved for lower caste people for 70 years. That's why you're seeing the upward mobilization of people. India just took over England, and he made sure there are parts in that, like if someone calls you the N-word, nothing happens in America. If someone calls you a
And all of this has got, why is he
lower caste person with your caste and says something, they will go to jail, and that's a non-bailable thing. They will stay in jail until they.
So when Indian people call
we are actually working. We are actually making an effort, bro. Black people don't live in India.
Yes.
These guys don't make any effort. I've met a lot of Sanghis. They all have the same kind of idea. They are brought up with this ideology, and because of that, they say anything fair is beautiful, and anything dark is ugly. Even their gods, the way they depict their gods, the way they make their idols in the north, I think they are marble statues. They don't whereas in the southern part of India, most of our idols are dark, right? I don't think in the north they even do that. Because I had a chat with one of the Sanghis, and talking to him, that's what I realized. They think black is ugly. They think there's something undivine about black, and that's, I'm just being honest. I'm not even joking.
say do Africans because you guys
Not
are beating the
not
shit
like
out of
that.
Africans.
And they have
That's
a
your-
huge-
no,
Bro,
Nigerians are there,
and they have a
you guys are
huge-
beating the shit out of African students.
That was one instant that
No,
happened
it
in
isn't.
Noida.
It is
Bro,
not.
Bro,
It's
that is what I'm
rampant.
saying. The
Okay,
amplitude.
This dude, I don't know, is out of his mind. I think there's been many instances. I personally know, I think someone told me when there's this Vellore Institute of Technology in the southern part of India, and people from other countries also, they come there to study. And then at one point, I think, like, a bunch of dudes pissed off a couple of African students, and those African students got so mad. Apparently, they beat the shit out of these guys. Like they chased them across like the whole the building, and then and again, this is what I heard. I don't know if it's like really true. So it is. As I say, it's very common in India, not just if you're like African. If you're an Indian who's really dark, you're gonna be made fun of. I mean, you have to just accept it and then learn to live with it. That's how it is. It is. I mean, after a point, they just get used to it. Like some of the guys, right? Like they're just going to get used to it. Okay, you're just making fun. But that's what happens. That's the reality.
It isn't than anybody.